Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Tabletop Topics.
Welcome.
Hi, my name is Jeff.
And I'm Jeff.
So, Jeff, what
Yes.
are we going to be talking about today?
What was it yesterday? Congress had a hearing on UAPs,
And what is a UAP for our audiences who don't know?
unidentified aerial phenomena. We used to call them UFOs for like forever, right? Yeah.
So, you're talking about aliens.
Aliens.
Isn't that like a conspiracy theory that a lot of people make up?
In 2022, can you really say it's a conspiracy though?
No, not really, not anymore.
Like the evidence that presents itself, the capabilities we are able to accomplish, things we're able to do. Like it makes you wonder, right? Like,
Oh, of course. I mean, we cannot, in this vast amount of empty void universe with billions of stars, we cannot just be the only life out in the entire universe or in this entire galaxy.
yes,
You see, I mean, there's infinite amount of galaxies, but we're just talking about our own Milky Way galaxy.
that's facts.
So,
That's facts. Even with that James Webb telescope, we're looking 14 billion years
into the past.
into the past, and we're seeing these ancient galaxies,
Yeah,
how they looked like 14 billion years ago. And
exactly.
you have no idea what type of history, what secrets those galaxies hold. So it brings into question. But there's usually like this overarching, what you call it, this hypothesis. Not necessarily hypothesis, but it's more like a understanding, um, where it's like, what is it called? The Fermi Paradox.
The Fermi Paradox.
I'll give you the textbook definition. The Paradox is the conflict between the lack of clear, obvious evidence for extraterrestrial life and various high estimates for their existence. Um, there have been many attempts to explain the Fermi Paradox, but it essentially is saying, here we go, that if life is so easy, someone from somewhere must have come calling by now.
And why do you think that isn't happening?
Well, think about, there's two factors.
Okay.
Either A, they found us and they don't want us to know, or B, the universe is so big, the size of the universe is so big, like intergalactic distances completely isolate us from other beings. Now, if you want to say, let's look inside our galaxy,
Mm-hmm.
that's like, where's the life? Like, where are we? We're located near the edge, one of the arms of our galaxy.
Yeah.
So we're not really near entire like star systems, like huge clustered star systems, where it would be a lot more easier to travel to and from other Earth-like planets. We're near the tail end, the outskirts of our galaxy. So essentially, where most of the Earth-like planets and where most of the solar systems are more near towards the center. So that could be one explanation. And of course, distance between stars are insane.
So it says right here on the scientificamerican.com that the essential modern picture that our solar system is located on the inner edge of the spiral arm, about 25,000 light years from the center of the galaxy, which is in the direction of the constellation of the Sagittarius.
Let's look that up real quick.
So, but yeah, but the Fermi paradox was saying, if life is so easy, someone's from somewhere must have come calling by now. But then again, like they have their theory. Well, it's not a theory. The galaxy space is forever expanding, right?
Right.
Which is why every time people have the theory of, well, why can't we reach a certain galaxy or a certain planet in a certain amount of time, or it's going to take light years or billions of light years to reach? Is because the galaxy is forever expanding. I mean, the universe is forever expanding.
At a fraction of the speed of light.
Exactly. And so basically, it's like getting on a ship and standing still while the
It's like you going 50 miles an hour chasing someone going 100 miles an hour.
you'll never catch up.
You'll never catch them.
And even if you go 100, they'll be going 150 miles an hour.
Kind of, sort of, because then you're starting to get into like breaking the laws of physics. You know what I'm saying? The speed of light.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I'm not trying to
the-
get into the comic book realm of
right,
anything, but
right.
I'm just kind of giving you an example of that's the only reason why it's difficult for us to get to from point A to point B in a decent amount of time without being dead before we get there. And then of course, like you say, they're still trying to solve how to create gravity or
Well, find the source of gravity, like
source of
dark
gravity.
matter. Well, something. What is gravity? Like,
I got you.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to get too into detail because then we're getting into physics and quantum mechanics and it. You know,
We're not trying to lose everybody.
Yeah, this
I
ain't the
gotcha.
Discovery Channel. You feel me?
This is the Jeff and Jeff channel.
But
Yeah.
one good explanation for why we have yet to find extraterrestrial life or witness other life is a concept known as the Great Filter.
What is the Great Filter?
The context of the Great Filter in the context of the Fermi Paradox is whatever prevents dead matter from giving rise in time to expanding, lasting life, according to the Kardashev Scale. We'll get into that later.
Yes.
The most commonly agreed upon low probability event is abiogenesis, which is a gradual process of increasing complexity of the first self-replicating molecules by a randomly occurring chemical process. Other proposed great filters are the emergence of eukaryotic cells, or of meiosis, or some of the steps involved in the evolution of a brain capable of complex logical deductions.
Okay. So
A biologist, Dr. Schultz McCouch, and William Baines, reviewing the history of life on Earth, including convergent evolution, conclude that transitions such as oxygenic photosynthesis, the eukaryotic cell, multicellularity, and tool-using intelligence are likely to occur on any Earth-like planet, given enough time. They argue that the Great Filter may be abiogenesis, the rise of technological human-level intelligence, or an inability to settle on other worlds because of self-destruction or lack of resources.
all right. So if you can condense that down for some of our viewers,
So essentially,
in simplistic terms, what is the Great Filter and what does it do and how
Okay.
does it affect us?
so either A, the reason why we can't find life, the processes in which happen on Earth that allowed life to evolve, the chemical processes, the molecular processes happened the right way.
Perfectly.
Perfectly. Which is mind blowing.
Which is insane the way everything connects
Right.
perfectly.
Perfectly.
Yeah.
For life to continue, for dead organisms, dead molecules, dead things to organize together and essentially provide functions that they work off of each other to build upon and build more complex, life. It's kind of like, what was it, in Kurzgesagt? Think about it, right? Humans, right?
Shout out to Kurzgesagt.
Shout out to Kurzgesagt. Watch them, YouTube, solid. But humans, right? We're alive.
Okay.
We function, we breathe, we can, we can do things, blah blah blah, whatever.
Yeah.
But if you look on a microscopic scale, we're made up of millions of dead things
Yeah.
that just know what to do. Proteins, like break it down to the atomic level.
Well, it's like your hair. It's
You know what I'm
dead.
saying?
Your fingernails.
Right. Break it down to the atomic level. You have atoms coming together, creating molecules, coming together, creating, cells and functions and
Mm-hmm.
da da da. But individually, they aren't alive.
Yeah, that's true.
You see what I'm
They're
saying?
only alive because they're working together.
Right.
Yeah.
They have an organized function to part of a microsystem that essentially expands into a macro system, which is us,
Okay.
which builds us,
The building blocks.
the building blocks. So
Yes.
either A, that never happened on those Earth-like planets. B, it did happen, and they advanced to a point where it gave rise to technology that deemed them,
Are we talking about Moonfall?
bruh,
That's
You
a
know what I'm
movie, by the way.
or technology. Two things: either they developed the technology
Hmm.
that killed them, wiped them out,
Exactly.
or B, they essentially transformed themselves into some sort of technological
Being.
being, or C, they destroyed themselves.
Ah, okay. Okay. So
They destroyed themselves either through war or using up all their resources. And that's clearly observable on Earth.
on Earth.
All these things are observable on Earth.
Hmm.
We are just in the midst of those. We're essentially at a three-pronged fork in the road, and we got to decide
Which direction we're gonna
which
take.
direction we're going to go.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Which is why you have examples like Neuralink. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, with Elon
The
Musk.
advent of AI,
Mhm.
quantum computing.
So they can solve the world's problems
Right.
for us.
War over resources.
Yep.
Limited resources.
Mhm.
So those go hand in hand. So while you're fighting, while you're killing each other for resources, you're also using up all those resources you need to continue to move forward and
yeah.
advance. And those are essentially like examples of a great filter that could prevent us from being a spacefaring civilization, or prevent other civilizations from being found or seeing them, or they exist and they just haven't advanced enough to give off a techno signature throughout space that we can pick up.
I got you. So with the Congress meeting on the UAP, what did you learn from watching that interview?
In my opinion, I feel like this was something that was just, it's always been here. What did they say? They've been documenting this for the past 70 years.
70 years, yeah.
And there were prior programs that the Department of Defense had started up, like
DOD.
Project Blue Book.
Blue Book that they cannot even discuss.
Yeah, which they ended up canceling.
Did they really cancel it though?
No, come on.
Because remember when Congress asked them, "Did you discontinue the 70 years of research when Project Blue Book started in 1969?" What did they say? They said, "Yeah, we don't have any updated information." And when somebody's lying, their eyes are like moving back and forth.
We've seen enough movies,
Yep.
bro. Movie is just a reflection of real life.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
like the way the military and the Department of Defense and the government acts in the movies, you can assure that's how they're going to act now. And
So do you believe that they're basically saying that humanity itself is not ready to listen to this, or are they trying to slowly introduce it?
it's like that with even tech, right?
Mhm.
Think about it. Before the internet was
The internet.
it was military technology.
That's true.
Cell phones, military technology.
Hmm.
A lot of these advancements that we enjoy today, most of them were started off in military application.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So why not say the same thing for, UFOs or aliens or extraterrestrial life?
Hmm.
Off-world life. It's like, what was it? Whatchamacallit? So back in, I want to say like the 50s or 60s, there was like this, what are they called? It was like mass hysteria,
Hmm.
where there was like a radio show. I'm not going to get into specifics because it's off the top of my head. I remember reading it somewhere. There was a radio show where they would play like, crazy stories, at night, and people would gather around and listen. And there was one specific story they talked about, first encounters and UFOs and Twilight Zone esque.
Yeah.
And when a majority of the population tuned into this, like people started freaking out. People started calling in.
Why?
Like
Because they thought
it was crazy.
it was
You know what I'm
crazy.
saying? People
I got
were
you.
losing their mind. And like that's something you can't like
You can't throw it in
you
people's
can't throw that in
faces.
people's face.
Yeah.
Especially when it's during a time where to even think about that type of advancement in technology or the idea that you know there's life outside of
Our own
little bubble
little bubble. Exactly.
biosphere, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like you're challenging a lot of things. You're challenging a lot of beliefs. You know, you're challenging a lot of science. You know, during that time. But of course, as we advance, we see the possibilities we can, the feats we can do and create with technology. Um,
What's like before where we didn't want the government watching us in our own homes, and now we have nothing but smart homes
right.
where they have access to
They have
everything.
access to
Like the perfect example was when the Xbox came, not the original, not the 360, but the new one, Xbox Series X came out, and then it was connected, is always on. Everybody was offended because they didn't want it listening, paying attention, doing all that stuff. And now we have all this technology in our house every single day, and it's normal to us because they were ahead of their time.
They were ahead of
So
their time, right.
I understand.
There's always you have to gradually
introduce something.
introduce.
It's like throwing a iPhone 13 in 2001. People are gonna freak the fuck out because they're like, what is
Well,
this?
actually, I'd be like, man, it's cool.
It is cool as shit, but how do you use
Because you gotta
it?
understand, they introduced that idea, like especially in the '90s with us. Like, there's so many alien movies.
Yeah, yeah. that's
In
true.
late '80s, '90s, you had Blade Runner, you had Terminator, you had what you call
Well,
it,
Terminator was more of a human.
human AI.
Oh yeah, yeah. You're
see
right.
what I'm saying?
You're right. You're right.
Human AI.
Because technically, like a lot of people say, we are
We are aliens. You know what I'm
because
saying?
because a lot of people have to understand is if we did encounter a new species or creature, they're gonna see us as aliens, just as we see them as aliens.
As aliens.
But people don't look at it that way. They look at themselves and say, "No, we're human. No, you're aliens.
You're
They're-
an alien. Yeah.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
essentially." But yeah, I understand what you're saying.
It's like, think about it, right? What happens when we become a multiplanetary species?
they're gonna be aliens.
They're going to be
Because
aliens.
if a child is born on Mars, they're not human,
They're Martian.
they're Martian. But it's weird to call them that,
That's right.
even though they have the same biology as we do. They
Right.
might evolve in a different way because of the
Right.
gravity and all that stuff like that. But they're Martian.
They're Martians. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So it's like,
I got you.
you think about stuff like that, and it's like, how can you deny the fact when we're witnessing our own evolution into a spacefaring civilization? Granted, we're super early in it, but you can see the process. You can see the future we may end up in, you know? And going back to the whole Martian thing, like, there's going to be a point in time, not in our lifetime, maybe
Yeah.
in the next century and a half,
Yeah.
you know, we'll be witnessing wars on Mars. You see what I'm saying?
With people that look like us.
With people that look like us, you know, and over time they'll develop, their genes will split off from ours because Mars is one fourth or one third of Earth's gravity.
Yep. And then of course their DNA is gonna
The
evolve.
DNA is gonna be the chemical composition of Mars atmosphere. is completely
their
different.
air is probably gonna be
You see
able.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's say you want to start planting food, you want to do agriculture on Mars. The soil composition is going to be different.
The aging process is probably gonna be slower.
Because you have less gravity working on you.
So you're gonna live longer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Your body's not fighting as hard against gravity, so of course you're going to have lighter bone density, lighter muscle mass.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It might be because of the lighter bone density and lighter muscle mass. It allows the human brain to even grow larger. You see what I'm saying? But over time, it's not just going to happen like that. It's not going to be like, okay, the first baby on Mars is going to be like this weird looking human.
Yeah.
It takes time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, because
Evolution is
every
yeah.
generation is going to be built, prepped to handle the environment on Mars.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So even in that instance, let's say someone from Mars comes to Earth to come visit Earth,
It's going to be difficult for them
it's going to be difficult for them.
because their bone density is lighter, so they're probably going to have to wear
Right.
suits or invent something that allow them
Right.
to walk it. They're going to have to breathe different type
Right.
of air.
And even then, it'll allow them to, in my opinion, I think it'll allow them to advance a lot further. Because think about, like, yes, the laws of physics apply everywhere as they do on Earth,
hmm
but your starting point for that is completely different. Like, think about structures, right? You don't have as much gravity to, like, you don't have to compensate for the force of Earth's gravity like you have to do on Mars.
So you're basically
So you can build larger mega structures.
yeah,
You
that's
know,
true.
you could build better flying machines.
Yeah,
better
because the
transportation.
gravity's lighter.
You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, so it's like it's gonna separate it into its own separate field of technology, maybe science in general, or biology as well.
hmm
Because the way you treat a Martian isn't going to be the same you treat
A human.
a human.
Yeah.
Or an Earth.
Earthling. If you wanna, if you
Man,
wanna
that's
use,
so lame.
if you wanna use the old
That's
school
so
term,
lame. We got called
Earthlings.
Earthlings.
Yep.
Ugh.
Yep. Well, and like I said, everything that you're talking about is fascinating because you like you said, it changes the fundamental thinking of how we as human beings are, which is leading up to my second point, which is what does that mean for religion? Because for a long time, people have had a certain way of believing their God,
Mm-hmm.
and now and in their mind, the way their Bibles are set up, which I'm not saying every Bible is like that, but
Every holy book.
every holy book is like that, but it literally says God created humanity in its own image. So therefore, if something different were to come, does that change the fundamental religious belief of everybody? Because God, that's basically saying, well, God created these creatures in his own image. But what if they're like, whoa, I thought we were the only ones that existed
Right.
in this vast universe? So my next question to you is, how does that fundamentally change religion for a lot of people? And will they accept it or will they deny
Well,
it?
here's what you got to understand, right? Think about if every biblical text, not just biblical, but any holy book,
Mm-hmm.
right? Think of the feats they were able to accomplish.
Oh,
You understand what I'm saying?
yeah.
Now think of where we are headed in terms of science and medicine. We're heading to a point where science and magic, I don't want to say religion is magic, but that's the closest thing I can compare it to.
Yeah.
So science
It's
will
just
essentially become indistinguishable from magic.
magic, which is
What is it, Tony Stark?
Tony Stark said
Tony
this
Stark said that.
in Marvel.
In Marvel.
Magic is just science we do not understand.
You understand what I'm saying? We're literally like, it's almost like alchemy where we can turn plants into meat.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? We can, you have CRISPR gene editing. You have mRNA, which has the potential to cure AIDS, cancer.
Mhm.
It could be the wonder vaccine for all. You understand what I'm saying? We understand we can create artificial diamonds because we understand atomic structures and molecular structures and how they work. You have graphene, borphine.
Yeah,
you know.
the nanite robot that
Yeah.
can go into your system.
You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
like, when it comes to that, think about it. If some super advanced alien came to Earth, right? And they're defying all laws of physics that we understand. Couldn't you say that's almost godly?
Yeah,
How would you be able to differentiate, right?
that's true.
What if this ethereal being lands on the planet and says,
I'm God.
I'm XYZ?
Do you think?
How do you disprove it?
That's true. Do you think the same thing could have been, and not to offend people out there, but do you think the same thing could have been with Jesus? When they say he
'Cause-
did all these feats,
Right.
walking
Well,
on water.
Even since the beginning, like Genesis, like Old Testament, New Testament, like think about the things that were taking place. Think about the civilizations that existed,
Yeah.
that were really in tune with the stars and understood astronomy and you know
The animals, the plants.
yeah, the position, like the way they used uh, uh, the universe to better their lives, advance their lives, their technology, just by observing the sun, observing the stars. They could predict a bunch of things, understanding how gravity worked to build
Great Pyramids.
self-flowing aqueducts, the alignings of the pyramids of Giza, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And then that also took place because Egypt exists in every ancient text.
And even their strongest crane couldn't lift one block.
One block.
So
You see what I'm saying?
that is what is still a mystery to a lot of people. Like the Egyptians were part of the Golden Age, right?
Was it?
Was
it the golden age of humanity, where it was like the great civilizations? You had ancient Greece, Egypt,
I believe so.
all that, but that was over like a period of like 100 or like about 6,000, 100,000 years, maybe.
Yeah, but like I was
what I'm
saying, even our strongest crane can't lift one block from the pyramid. So it's like, how did they build that? And that is one of the mysteries and the questions of life, which is why I was saying, like you said, if you saw a godlike being, because a perfect example is it's gonna get nerdy, guys, but a perfect example is Superman. When it was Batman v Superman, when they're like, oh, he's saving all these people are
They
praising.
looked at him like
as
a god,
yeah,
a religious
essentially.
figure. What was it? They even made games, Gods Among Us.
Yeah, exactly.
These superheroes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and that's the thing, and that's a perfect example of modernizing a godlike being.
And that's what I'm saying. So, like, for me, it could go either way. There could be like some mass awakening where we just like, hey, there's something bigger than this. There's something bigger than what we believe. There's something more to existence in this universe. Or it could make it a lot more. It could validate religion. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because this is a being.
it is. It is.
This is an entity.
You're either accept it or reject it.
Or reject. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't think it will change, but not the way that I think it is. Like some mass revolt of.
It's not going to crumble society.
Right.
Like a lot of people think it would. If they did find out something bigger.
We would just be a lot more enlightened. I think it would push us. It would unify humanity's purpose. Like,
and let us know that it's not just us.
It's not just us. And I think that's the reason why we are so how do I say it? We're so indifferent to, not really indifferent, but like on the grand scale, we're indifferent to our existence.
Gotcha.
We're so self-focused on individualism. We don't see the bigger picture in our existence in the galaxy, the universe, the cosmos.
Which is why a lot of the times people always think that the question they always ask is, are we alone out there? And it's like, a lot of people, I don't think a lot of people really do think about that question.
Right.
Because like you said, we're all focused on ourselves. But then if something out of the ordinary happens, like you said, then the mindset of every human being changes, because they're like, okay, yes, we know the universe is vast, and yes, we know we're not alone, but now what do we do with this information?
What do we do? Exactly.
That we have now, because
it's like, let's say we make contact. What happens? Does
Yeah,
your
what's the
job
next
matter? Does your job matter?
everybody on everyone's
Like,
fingers is on the nuke.
Let's say aliens come today, right?
Yeah.
You're scheduled to work at 4:00. You going into work?
Nope. Well, a perfect example. I'm gonna use this again. This is gonna be nerdy, guys. Man of Steel. What happened when Zod showed up on Earth? Everyone staring at their TVs.
Yeah.
Everyone stopped eating. Nobody went to
no
work.
one wanted to work.
Everyone's just paying attention. Oh my
Yeah.
God, it's right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, trust me, I
You
would.
see what I'm saying?
You want me to come in? I'm watching a spaceship from my house, and you want me to come into
Coming
work?
to work?
Get out of
What are you
here! Get the
talking
fuck out
about,
of here!
bro?
Nobody's gonna be.
What are you talking
You want to
about?
buy some bread while we stare at this alien ship? No, I'm going to stay home and watch it and see what's gonna
That's what
happen
I'm
next.
saying.
Like you said, everyone's gonna
You
see what
know?
happens next.
And like going back to this hearing, there was like it going back to the idea of are we ready for something like that? My prediction, I will say, don't bank on me on this, but I will say maybe by 2035 we'll have
They'll slowly introduce it.
concrete evidence. You see what I'm saying? Because when I was watching snippets of this hearing, it was more like hey, we're kind of introduce. We may have found something, but we need to let the public know
So they can slowly prepare themselves.
so we can prep ourselves.
Yeah. It's
You
like
see
I
what I'm
made a
saying?
hot bowl of porridge, but don't eat it right away because you're
Right.
gonna burn your mouth.
You're gonna burn your mouth.
Yeah.
And it goes back to what you said when you were watching it. Every single time they asked them to go into detail, what did they say?
They couldn't go into detail. They said, or wait till after the interview's over.
Wait till after the interview's over.
So
What were the questions they asked them?
one of the questions were, did you continue the program, what's it called?
Blue Book or
The
something?
Blue Book program that started in 1969 and ended in 2015, I believe. They said, wait till after the cameras are off. Then they said, have you made any contact with any of the UAPs throughout the sonars and the radars and any of that? They said, wait till after the cameras are off. Then they also asked them if you did advance any weaponry or technology from what did you find like debris? They said, did you find like debris to advance technology or anything like that? Wait till the cameras are off. So there was a lot of, like you say, triangle questions they're asking them that they could not answer until the cameras are off. So the DOD does know something, but they cannot, like you said, just
because one, it also presents a national security threat, right?
exactly.
You understand what I'm saying?
Or
'Cause
they
it's
also
like-
asked them. They also asked them, are they a national security threat to us or to any other country? And if they are they aiding any other country? And if they are aiding any country, you need to let us know now because that's a national security threat for us.
Right.
Wait till the cameras are off. They said.
Right, because that's something you do. Like I can understand that, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah,
let's
yeah,
say
I agree.
we have adversaries. It's like, oh man, like what if they're testing something? They got their hands on something
From a piece of debris that from
Exactly.
whatever they got.
Say
Yeah.
they got their hands on something, they try to reverse engineer it, they figure something out, and we know about it.
Mhm.
We can't let them know we know about it.
Exactly, because everybody's paying attention to
Right.
that.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, that's
It's a tricky question.
it's a tricky.
And it's not for me, it's not even saying, "Oh, I need you to tell me the truth." They will tell us when they are ready.
right.
It's not something that needs to be forced upon people, especially if, like you said, they know especially if they know that other countries are watching, especially their enemies. You don't want your enemies to know what you know because then they're going to try to advance or create something
Exactly.
really fast. So that's understandable when they say something like that. But yeah, it's just crazy. Just the fact that we're watching, which is leading up to our next point, we're watching all these old movies of these UFO people standing in the street poor saying the aliens are coming,
Aliens
we
are
are all
coming.
going to die, blah blah blah, this and that, to now we're actually talking about it.
Right.
So-
Well, and we're gonna get to a point where it's like you won't be able to deny it because everyone has a phone.
Yeah.
There's witnesses everywhere.
Yeah, and everyone's always picking up and recording.
Everyone's always picking up. It's almost like that's crazy. They're going future humans or future whatever are going to look back at us and they're going to see depictions of us holding this brick in our hands.
Yep.
Because it's become second nature to just document.
And then now it's gonna be Neuralink. So
Right.
whatever you see, it records.
That's true. That's Black Mirror shit.
Yep.
I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I want to go that
I
far.
mean, I'm pretty sure we're not gonna be alive when that happens, but it's going to happen.
Jeff, you really think You're not gonna be alive when that happens.
I hope
After
not.
all the bullshit you done seen already,
I hope not.
you don't think you're gonna be alive when that
Oh
happens.
man, then nobody can get away with. You know the show How to Get Away with Murder? Ain't
Bruh,
nobody getting away
we're
with
a quarter
murder.
way through this century.
Ain't nobody getting
We're
away with.
technically in the roaring 20s. Look what came out of the previous roaring 20s.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly.
That's true.
You really don't think we're gonna reach that point? But it's like, it makes you think though, you know, where, okay, one, where are they? Where do they come from?
Mm-hmm.
And B, if we have all these documents and da da da, why aren't they interacting with us? It almost feels like they're surveying us.
Yeah.
Ever since they started documenting, there's multiple instances. I remember those one point where he was showing the video of the triangles. I swear people are gonna start calling them the triangles now. But the reason why they came up the shape of triangles, because you know they got to explain everything away. You know what I'm saying? You can't leave any room for skepticism.
Mm-hmm.
So in their explanation, the reason why those objects in the sky appeared as triangles was because of the way the night vision, the reflection, the night vision processes the reflection of whatever object that is, and it alters it, giving it the shape of the triangle.
Triangle, okay.
But that's not the first time we've seen that triangle thing.
But they dubbed it a weather balloon or a plane or a hot air balloon.
But here's the thing: within the the last 400 or 150? I want to say 400. I'm gonna say 400.
Okay.
Because in total it was 400.
Okay.
Within the past 10 years, the 150 claims, only one has been explained as a weather balloon.
Wow.
Think about it. The U.S. is like top tier in surveillance, reconnaissance, spying, technology, all that shit. Mm-hmm. And you only explained one encounter as a weather balloon?
So they're hiding the rest.
Come on, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Come on, man.
I know. And then, like I said, the diehards are the ones that actually did their research, know what's going on, but can't say anything, or they're dubbed as crazy.
Oh, you're dubbed as crazy. It's easy to just crazy it away.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's easy to
it's
away.
Easier to try to explain it in a scientific sense instead of saying it's a miracle.
And that also, like, okay, so now let's say these people do visit, like, what happens next? Like, do you help us? Like, me personally, I think we're gonna be aggressive as fuck.
But that's what I'm saying. We perceive anything that is that doesn't
as a threat,
that doesn't seem human as a threat. Mm-hmm. So we're already gonna be in DEFCON 4 as soon as we see something like that. Especially if we don't know. What if they come and they look exactly like us, but they have gills on their neck?
That'll be weird.
I know
because a lot of things have to go right for you to look human.
What I'm saying is, but that's what I'm saying. And like I said, delving into the third bullet point, which is our depiction of aliens in movies, it's like Superman. That man's from how many galaxies far away, but he comes all the way to Earth, and he looks exactly like us, functions like us, can have kids like us, stands like a human being. The only difference is his body mass index is way heavier than ours because of the planet that he was on, which is why he can fly. So, like you said, a lot of things needs to go right, but it's like, okay.
Because, like, if you can make... Because I believe when we're visited... when they reveal themselves to us, they're not going to be organic life forms. But my counter argument to that is space is not friendly to technology.
Gotcha.
Microwave radiation.
Why do you say that?
Background microwave radiation.
Oh, okay. Any and everything that can kill us.
Literally any and everything. You know what I'm saying? It's harder for biological life to travel through space, but it's not easy for technology. You know what I'm saying? Now, if they did make that trek across space, just know nothing we do will stop them if they're aggressive.
That's true. We can try.
You literally made it across the most dangerous thing.
Not even that. You figured out gravity and then we're able to
You figured out
bend space time
faster than light travel.
Yep.
You figured out gravity.
Mm-hmm.
You figured out everything. Everything.
Yeah, because if you figure out gravity, you figure out everything.
You're bending space time
just to get here.
You're doing a whole bunch of crazy stuff. You know, so look at our reaction to like the fact that we already claim it as a national security because it is a national security.
Well, of course,
because we don't know what it is. It can
it can be a national security, especially if they're assuming that it's an enemy state.
Right.
That's why they're saying. Also, in their interview, they're saying, can you confirm that it is a UAP and not an enemy with an unknown technology that we don't know about? And they said, yeah, we can confirm that it's not an enemy.
Because the only reason why is
there's no jet.
Look at the form factor. There's no propulsion system.
It was unmanned.
Wings,
it was unmanned.
No windows. Nothing.
And it literally went from point A to point B in 2 seconds.
My goodness, what was it? 04? The pill. Everyone loves talking about the pill. I love the pill because that's like the best example of like, man, that's pretty crazy. Or like the two fighter pilots were headed to their reconnaissance point, their meetup point, and they start tracking this pill flying like hypersonic,
and they're trying to catch up to it
at hypersonic speeds. You hear hypersonic missiles, hypersonic this, hypersonic blah blah blah, and you see the effort we have to put in. Like when you see those hypersonic rails, those tests, need insane amounts of thrust.
Even slowing it down by 20, you still can't see it.
You still can't see it. So, and then on top of that, it's like you have air resistance. So I'm saying the faster you go, the more air becomes like more of a solid because you're crushing the air molecules in front of you, and it's like air is just a lighter water, a more fluid water.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So once you travel at a certain speed, you're going to hit that wall of air, and that's why you see that whole the sonic boom. You know. But when you're going hypersonic, like that's not, no human is capable of
doing that.
You know what I'm saying? And the maneuvers they're doing defy physics.
Yeah, because it literally went in front of them, disappeared, went right behind them, and then past them.
Yeah, it was tracking them, it was following them. Then it fell into the water. It dropped almost half a mile into the water in a split second. Disappears under the water. These people continue flying to their meetup point, their meeting point, and then they find the pill is at their meetup point.
And then it leaves. That's crazy. And it was three or four witnesses?
It was two.
Two witnesses.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was two witnesses.
So
and they were tracking it with their infrared, their little radar.
And they just couldn't catch up to it.
They couldn't catch up to it. They caught it. And they just couldn't catch up to it. And the maneuver, because when you think about hypersonics, right? Only thing it's good for is traveling in a straight line. If you're going that fast and you decide to make a left turn, you're blowing up.
Yeah.
You're blowing up.
That's true.
You want to make a left turn, you're blowing up. Straight lines and arcs. That's it. That's all you're doing. You know what I'm saying? But these things are barreling, tumbling, elevating, descending, falling through water. Like, that's crazy. You see what I'm saying?
But that's the thing.
Without wings, without propulsion.
Yeah, it sounds crazy. And it's unmanned.
You know
so we know of, because they can't. Our technology is not that to the point.
Yeah, if you're capable of doing that, I don't think you need windows. If you're capable of doing that,
yeah,
I don't think you need
pull a
windows,
Lost in Space where you just use the digital display.
I really don't think you need windows.
All right, yeah, but like I said, this is a topic this is a conversation to be had, because like I said, it's like it's happening, and the question is, are we paying attention to it? And then to prepare people for it when it does happen is what Congress is doing right now. The DOD is doing right now.
2035
is his prediction.
Is my prediction.
It's not. That's not when it's gonna happen.
The earliest maybe 2030.
All right. So this is a little different from what we've been talking about. But my third point was, are realistic depictions of aliens in movies. I understand we as human beings see anything that we don't.
Here's.
Oh.
Let me see. Oh no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know we as human beings depict most and all aliens as threats. So my question to you is, why do we depict them as these complex, dangerous creatures that all they want to do is either destroy or take over humanity?
Because we put ourselves in aliens. We dumb the aliens down to a point where they're as dumb as us.
Gotcha. Basic hunting and
resources. It's always based off of resources.
War of the Worlds.
Always based off of, and that's where
Skyline.
it comes. You're right, and that's where it comes into like the whole Kardashev Scale. You know, in that instance, where it's like, if you're that advanced, you're a robot, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Your objective is self-replication, proliferation, whatever. Right? If you have all these capabilities to traverse the entire universe, there are steps you need to reach before you achieve those capabilities. It's like, even if we figure out space travel, we still have to figure out self-sustainability.
Yeah, that's true.
You see what I'm saying? We need to eat, we need to breathe, we need to procreate, we need to whatever. We still have those, and then on top of that, like when it comes back to the whole, we like to think aliens think like us, because what do? We fight over resources.
That's true. That's true.
But in this infinite expanse, in reference to, in our frame of reference, the universe is infinite.
Yeah.
There's infinite resources. You see what I'm saying? So why would you go to a planet with life to siphon the resources?
That's true.
We're literally already talking about mining asteroids. Why are we going to go to a planet with life and destroy it for what? Rocks, water, minerals?
That exists. Gold didn't come from Earth. It came from
space.
From space.
We're made of what? Star stuff.
Yep. Matter. What is it? Diamond didn't come from Earth. From space.
Water.
From space.
You know what I'm saying?
We're basically what the we're made out of.
We're
the universe.
made of the universe.
We're made. That's why matter cannot be created or destroyed. Only transformed.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Same with energy. You know. So if that's your plot point in a movie for an alien, which is, you know, resources, that's a dumb plot point.
Well, it's like Battle LA. They came to Earth because they needed their water.
Why? Mine a comet. Smash a comet into your planet.
That's true.
What do you want?
That's true. Like, or Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
Where they opened a rip in the water. So they can terraform their planet by getting...
If you have the capabilities of terraforming, find a dead planet.
There's plenty in the universe.
There's plenty. Find a moon. Terraform one of Jupiter's moons.
Oh, perfect example. Transformers.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, do something. Because, all right, let's get into the Kardashev Scale real quick, and then we'll get back to the whole movies thing.
Yeah, I got you.
So, Kardashev Scale was designed in 1964 by Russian astrophysicist Nikolai Kardashev, who was looking for signs of extraterrestrial life within cosmic signals. It has 3 base classes, each with an energy disposal level. Type 1, 10 to the 16th watts. Type 2, 10 to the 26 watts. This is the amount of energy we need to consume. Right.
Okay.
Because as we advance, we need more energy.
Yep.
Right. And type 3 with 10 to the 36 watts. And other astronomers have extended the scale to type 4, 10 to the 46 watts, and type 5. The energy available to this kind of civilization would equal that to all of the energy available in not just our universe, but all the universes in all timelines. God. Okay. Yeah, just saying God. You know. These additions consider both energy access as well as the amount of knowledge the civilizations have access to. Let's get to the point. A type 1 designation is a species who has been able to harness all the energy that is available from a neighboring star, gathering and storing it to meet the energy demands of a growing population. This means that we would need to boost our current energy production over 100,000 times to reach this status.
Wow.
However, being able to harness all Earth's energy would also mean that we could have control over all natural forces. We can control the weather, we can control the climate, we can control the tectonic plates, we can control everything.
You mean God?
But that's the thing, we're not there yet.
We're nowhere near there yet.
We're nowhere near there.
We're nowhere near there yet.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, even if a type 1 had that capability, if you have that capability to do that for your own planet, you can do that for every planet. You don't need to go to a planet that's already teeming with life and da-da-da.
That's true. Why go after a planet that's already populated when you can look for an empty one and just start anew? Because if you look at Lost in Space, what was their goal? To go to that brand new planet that was similar to Earth to restart all over again because the resources of Earth were running out.
Exactly.
So that is smart. See, I can say that was literally the only show on Netflix that actually made sense, where they actually were going to colonize another planet with nothing on it.
With nothing. What was it? The one we just watched, right?
Lost in Space.
Not. Oh yeah, Lost in Space. But what was the other one? It's on HBO Max.
Oh, you're talking about how do we keep forgetting that show? That
I keep wanting to call it Aliens.
because of Ridley Scott.
Ridley Scott. But like going off of that, so it's like you think about it. I lost my train of thought. Hold on. Like you think about the Kardashev Scale. You have this ability to terraform your planet. You know, why would you need to? Oh, that's where I was
Raised
going.
by wolves.
Raised by wolves.
Raised by wolves.
There we go. But it's like, I know I'm hopping all over the place, but going back to the whole where I said maybe they're doing reconnaissance, right? Because if you're that advanced, you understand how to control your own life.
Mm-hmm.
You understand how to control your lifespan.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I said, with the one-all vaccine.
Yeah, that can cure everything
Right.
instead of taking separate
Once
vaccine.
we cure the human condition, which is the end of the human condition, which is not death, but the quality of life and extend life expectancy. Which is why you go back in the Bible and people were living like hundreds of years.
Like 4 to 900 years.
700 years. Yeah. Well, how old was not Moses, Noah? Noah was like 600 something years old,
yep.
and then he finished building the ark when he was 700 or something. That's
well,
crazy.
and that's one of the crazy things to me too. Like when you depict certain scriptures from the Bible, like when everybody spoke the same language and the language was separated by the heavens, and it's like if you put that in
English.
English.
Look at English. Google Translate.
But that's what I'm saying. So it's like, what if the aliens?
Wait, let me hold you off on that. Bro, in 80 years, it's going to be like, you speak Google. you speak Google. Bro, no,
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, but it's like angels were depicted as these majestic beings, which in terms could have been aliens, or the fact that the language that they all spoke because they were trying to reach the heavens, but they separated language so they couldn't build that tall ladder, could also have been a depiction
Was
of
it Tower of Babylon?
Exactly, the Tower of Babylon, which could also be depicted as they're them trying to reach a ship or something like that. But that's what I'm saying. If you modernize it or think about it in a more complex way,
Yeah, think about it more modern. Like even the accurate depictions of angels.
exactly.
Accurate, not humans, arms, hands, head with wings. No. Actual depiction of angels. They almost look they look extraterrestrial.
Godlike, and that's
They
why.
look, yeah.
That's
you know
how come. Well, if you see Supernatural, they couldn't stare at them because their eyes would burn out
eyes would
because they're
burn.
just towering beams of light.
Yeah.
Which when when they make alien movies, when the light is beaming on them, all you see is that glowing.
The halo, the glow.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
So, like I said, there's different interpretations of what aliens are like, and that like you said, there's always truth to there's always some truth to what you read in historical texts and or books. So it's like that's how human beings back in the day perceived whatever they were looking at. So it's like, could that have been it?
It could have.
That's the thing, because you say observe. Because when you said observing, that popped in my head. They've just been observing this long and just seeing how we evolve as humans.
Right. So, finishing off the whole lifespan point.
Yeah.
Let's say we improve our lifespan,
which is starting to happen again.
Right. So we improve our lifespan. We increase our lifespan. That allows us to achieve a lot more things. Ideas can now transition to generations a lot more clearly.
Yep.
Because we live longer.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? There is no lost history because we live longer.
Yep.
So now the where you look at it today, where we have this void century, the dark ages
that hurts my feelings.
Of lost discoveries.
That hurts my feelings.
You know what I'm saying? Because everyone
the
in
Library
that
of Alexandria.
You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of these ancient technologies, these lost, you know,
Texas.
texts and ways of life are gone because the life expectancy wasn't that long.
No, it wasn't.
You know what I'm saying? And people who were discovering these things were living till like 50.
Which is why they wrote it down.
Right. Or what was it? Galileo.
Yep.
It took 100 years after this man died
to realize
for people to accept the fact that
the sun,
the
earth was not in the center
of the universe. That's mind blowing.
That's mind blowing for
you
real.
You see what I'm saying? But because of that, now we're increasing our life expectancy. These discoveries, these ways of life, these understandings can transfer generations a lot more seamlessly. But going back to the whole reconnaissance thing, what if this is the same alien race or these same people
from the beginning?
From the 70s, right? Because if you think about it in a cosmic time scale, for them, like, here's a good example in terms of cosmic time scale, right? So let's say you go outside, you go to mow your grass, and you see a little ant pile, right? And then you see, 200 ants? Okay, an ant lives a max, 2-3 days?
Yep.
I don't know how long an ant lives, but, you know, I'll just say an ant lives max 2-3 days. All right, so you go outside, you see this little ant pile. You go inside, you come back maybe 2 or 3 days later. What's happened? The ant
lifespan of an ant can be anywhere from a few weeks to 15 years.
That's dummy. Let me not use an ant then.
Use a fly. Use a
Let's
fly.
use a fly.
So
but a fly doesn't really build nothing. You see what I'm saying?
When 24
All right, let
hours.
me just expand my time scale then. Okay, 15 years. We'll use a few weeks.
Okay.
So let's say you go out to your yard. You see a little ant pile.
Okay.
There's like 300, 400 ants, right? And they're building this little ant pile. And then you go inside, and then 2 weeks later you come back out. Those ants that built the beginning pile are now all gone. And now it's the second generation of ants.
Yeah.
And this ant pile is a lot bigger. On your time scale, man, they built that ant pile pretty quick.
But in their time scale, it felt longer.
It was a lifetime.
Wow.
It was lifetimes.
Nobody thinks about it like that.
It was lifetimes. So they could be observing us in terms of in terms of their time scale. Like, look at how advanced these little things are becoming, you know, or they're probably gauging us to see how violent or intelligent we are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Are we worth saving?
Well, you gonna save the ant pile? What happens when you go and try to mess with the ant pile? What do?
They're gonna attack.
They're gonna attack you. You know what I'm saying?
To them, you're the aggressor.
You're the aggressor.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So, like, when you look at that, if you look on a cosmic time scale, we could be having the same encounter with the same
since the beginning of
since
time.
the beginning of time.
Yeah.
Because what was it? If you look at human history on a time scale, if you had humanity spread out over 12, I mean, the existence of the universe spread out over 12 months, humanity existed for like
A blip. A wink.
0.0003
A
seconds.
grain of sand.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But now, for someone who has a longer
Lifespan.
a longer cosmological time
It means
scale,
nothing to them.
it means nothing to them. So we have to reach a point where our existence matches the cosmological time scale.
I got you.
Yes, we're advancing, but not as fast as we. Because understand, all the knowledge already exists in the universe.
Of course.
The universe
It's just trying to discover it.
right. You know what I'm saying? We're not creating anything new.
It already exists.
We're
It's
just finding more
we're
answers.
harnessing
Right.
what already exists.
What already exists.
Yeah.
And they could just be further along on that time scale.
Gotcha. I see what you're saying.
You know? So when it comes to stuff like that, it's not like, oh, these are multiple encounters and space is teeming with life and everyone's fine. No. They could have probably just found us and they're like, man, we finally found another life. We've been searching for eons and we finally found another life. Let's not disturb them.
Let's observe them.
Let's observe
Perfect
them.
example. Star Trek into darkness.
Into darkness.
When they were observing that civilizations that was using sticks.
They were the dinosaur civilization,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
Right,
and
with
then
the
they
clubs.
said, "Do not disturb them. We're just supposed to be observing." What did the captain end up doing? He ended up jumping into the ship.
And he dropped a piece of tech or something like that.
No. They saw the ship come out the water.
Oh!
So their new god
was the ship. It changed their entire course of history.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So these gods we were worshiping back in the day, you know, not just biblically, but these other gods we were worshiping. You see what I'm saying?
It could have been the same as that example that J.J. Abrams used in his third
They
movie.
could have came, visited us, and be like, "Oh man, we fucked up. We changed their entire course of history."
And that's what happened. That's probably what happened.
Right.
They got discovered. They fucked up. So it theoretically, the Bible became that history because that's what humanity back in the day followed.
Right.
So now it's just stories, but there's always truth to those stories.
Always.
It just depends on how the human being depicts it.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes
It's always
sense.
about
That makes
interpretation.
sense.
And because we don't live long, we interpret the stories how we interpret them, and then we pass those stories. And of course, it's a game of generational telephone.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
But now we're starting to live long. We literally went from 45 years old.
And because we're living longer, we understand more.
Exactly.
We have more time to discover more things and understand our place in the universe. You know? So I do believe there are other beings.
Oh yeah, most
what I'm
definitely in this vast
Right.
universe.
Right. In the
with
same
multiple galaxies.
exactly.
Come
And
on.
and the same precautions we take,
They're
you know,
taking too.
they take as well.
Yeah, they take
Like
too.
these untouched civilizations on planet Earth. These isolated civilizations that have
Why do you
never-
think we just observe and not touch?
we observe and not touch?
Exactly. 'Cause
We don't
want-
introduce any new pathogens to them.
Yeah.
We don't introduce any new technology to them. You see what I'm saying? Because one, that's a way you can witness true human evolution.
Yeah.
And two, you don't want to, whatever they had going there, you don't want to mess that up.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So I feel like maybe they're waiting for a point
Where they
in
feel
time,
like we'll be prepared.
we'll be prepared. But that's like, when do you feel an ant is prepared
You never,
to communicate with humans? You know what I'm
unless
saying?
you pull an Ant-Man and create a
Like,
device to have
Right.
that
You see what I'm
conversation
saying?
with
Like,
them.
exactly. At what point do you feel an ant is complex enough? Especially on a universal time scale. How long is that going to take? But
Yeah.
to them, that's
That's a
blink of an eye.
Yeah.
You know what it reminds me of? What was it? The whole time scale thing. With Seven Deadly Sins. When King and Diana the giant, King was like the fairy king.
The Fairy King, yeah, he was crowned the new
And
Fairy King.
they were in love, and they traveled the world together, and they met they stumbled across a small little village and became friends with a man and his family.
Mm-hmm.
And they grew up with this man since he was a kid, and they knew him. And then one day they went back to their home in the mountains and they went to sleep. When they woke up, they stepped outside. They go and they see the man
I know what you're
and
talking
his
about.
family
Yeah.
with his wife standing there. And they ask him, "Oh, how have you been? You know,
He
you
says
came
you're
to visit
talking
us."
about my
He's
grandfather.
like, "You're talking about my great grandfather."
Their sleep was a blip of an eye. It was a regular sleep
That was a regular
for
sleep.
them, but for everybody else, it was 50, 60 years. Oh no, 100
It was
years.
3 generations.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was 3 generations.
300 years.
But that's so crazy. And okay, I understand what you mean.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just like it really there's so many avenues you can look at it,
Mm-hmm.
but when it comes to this, I think we're halfway there ready
Mm-hmm.
to know the truth.
Which is why you're saying by 2035 is your
Right,
prediction that we
right.
should they will
Because
be.
even by then, we'll have the technology to back up those claims. Because it's like, hey, look at what we're able to do. You see what I'm saying? Look at what we're... Because it's just impossible. Like, for us to break down the mechanics of the universe and then use that to advance ourselves, and then something else doesn't do that.
Exactly.
Or maybe something else was there. Oh, prime example. Look at the dinosaurs.
Yeah. Do you think
They
that
were here for eons, for years. I mean, like hundreds of millions of years. We haven't even lived 1% of the time the dinosaurs.
But what I'm saying is, do you think they were like a beta test? I don't want to say it like that.
No, I feel it. I feel it.
But it's like, yeah, we put these creatures here so we can see how they evolved, but they're still animalistic. They still eat people. I mean, eat things. They still crap everywhere. They just have kids. They basic animal instincts.
Right.
Because, like they said, carbon dating levels of the Earth were higher back in the day.
Or the carbon levels.
The carbon levels were super high, so no human being would, of course, be able to live. But they were.
That's why the trees were huge.
That's why the trees were huge. The cockroaches were huge. Everything was big. You see what I'm saying?
And we're carbon-based life forms.
Exactly.
Which is wild. Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. Do you think they were the beta test, but it did not work, so they tried again? That's a theory. I'm not saying this is based off fact or anything like that. Do you think they tried with or they just observed them first? Nothing happened.
That's a good question.
Then the human.
It kind of makes me think: what did Mars look like at the time? Because remember, Mars was green during the time
filled with water.
Yeah, during the time of the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Like those millions of years, Mars was a lush planet. So, like, was the same incident that wiped the dinosaurs? Is that what wiped out Mars? You see what I'm saying? There's like a single event that messed up Mars, messed up Venus, messed up Earth, wiped out life on Earth around the same time.
See, that's where it goes into crazy theories,
right?
Where you're saying, well, Venus failed, Mars failed, but Earth.
It could have been a 3-planet system.
Oh,
you understand what I'm saying?
Let's plant the seeds and see who grows.
Right, like what did they always call Venus? Earth's sister, right?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So around that time, that's when Venus triggered its runaway greenhouse effect or whatever.
I believe so. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's around the time Mars's lakes dried up, its atmosphere was obliterated. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm just telling you what I see.
All right.
Just telling you what I see.
Well, that's crazy. But
do you have anything else?
I mean, it's just crazy the direction we as human beings are going and what we're witnessing during this lifetime. I didn't think I'd be alive for this.
It's a great time to be alive.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Because we're not at the end result, and we're not real. We could say we're at the beginning.
Yeah.
Because at the turn of the century, You know what I'm saying? That's when we had like delusions of grandeur.
Tuh. But no, yeah. Do you have any? No, I'm just for me. It's just it's different. It's something
Mm-hmm.
new because I'm used to everyday life, and you don't think. And then some. I do watch. I do dabble in trying to figure out how this universe works.
There's
And
more to everything,
of
man.
course,
There's
everything is not
more to
just
everything.
a bubble. I know there's
Mm-hmm.
more out there. I know. I mean, you look at the. I was driving to work the other day, and you're looking at. I'm looking at the moon. I'm like, man, this perfect circle, this spherical beauty that's just there, is there
An
for
infinite void.
of space. Yeah, it's
Infinite of nothingness.
exactly.
All right, sorry, I didn't mean to give y'all an existential crisis. I'm not gonna do that again.
No,
But
but it's just crazy, man.
it's crazy.
It is, but
It's fun to think about.
it is. It is. But do you have any last words?
I honestly hope maybe a few years down the line. I'm super excited for the whole James Webb Space Telescope.
Oh yeah, definitely, especially to find out what
Yeah,
happened.
because we're barely getting like the first images of like ancient galaxies and stuff.
Do you think they will be able to get to the nothingness,
What do you mean?
the beginning, before?
Well, our observable universe is only 14 billion light years. So if there's more universe after that, we have no idea.
Gotcha.
We have no idea. Because even then, you can see huge clusters of galaxies in those ancient.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying?
Gotcha. So,
Like, it's just a point where we just can't see past that.
I got you. But
Yeah.
go ahead and continue. Finish your thought.
But yeah, man, like it's fun to think about. You know, it's fun to think about how looking for higher beings, other beings, really kind of transforms, our beliefs, how we move through life.
Of course, it,
You
it
know.
changes the human ideal. It really shows us that
Gives you a sense of purpose.
it does. On top of that, it takes us out of that bubble that we've been in
Mm-hmm.
for our entire lives or our entire observable existence.
Right. I feel like modern history is just like it's just the blueprint for us understanding how systems work, mastering those systems, and then pursuing our true purpose in the cosmos.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying? Once we've mastered harvesting resources, once we've mastered technology, health, you essentially unlock
Gravity.
the human limit. You
Yeah.
unlock so much more, a higher purpose than a 9 to 5.
Yeah, you're
You know?
right. I agree, and I think that's why people, when they're watching Star Trek and all these exploratory films, videos, biographies, documentaries, they're ready for that because
Right.
it's like a lot of people. That's how come when Avatar came out, they're like, "I'm tired of Earth. I want to go live on Naviv."
I want to go live on Naviv.
Yeah,
You have this yearning for
for an escape,
An
like you
escape.
said, a purpose.
a purpose.
You want to go somewhere besides everywhere you've been.
Exactly.
So
You feel alone. Collectively, humanity feels alone.
yeah.
And we want a higher purpose.
And like
know
you
what I'm
said,
saying?
yeah,
Death is not our purpose. We want a bigger purpose than just death.
I agree.
I
agree.
So that's what I'm gonna leave off on.
Yep. But thank you guys for joining us today on this.
Thank you. I know we delved into some conspiracy.
Yep. We
You
tried.
saw
not
a little glimpse of the chaos that I think about sometimes. Oh man.
But thank you guys for joining us at the tabletop again.
Thank you,
I am
you.
Jeff,
And I'm Jeff.
and we're both signing off. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.